Strength versus numbness. I came across this podcast of this pastor. He was on, he was being interviewed, and he was talking about how he was on the line with his leader. And they were having this great dialogue for like a couple hours. They were on the phone just getting things done, talking, and just discussing a lot of topics. And in the midst of the conversation, his leader says to him, "You're one of the weakest leaders I know." Now, naturally, he was taken aback by it because he's like, "Well, we're just having this whole dialogue, this conversation. We're getting a lot of things accomplished. What in this conversation mirrored me to be a weak leader?" And his leader proceeds to say, "Well, you say you haven't cried in years." Now, I know, because I was like, where's he going with this? But he said, "You say you haven't cried in years. Now, you're telling me as a pastor, God giving you, to be a shepherd over these sheep and to teach and minister and the countless people you've come into contact with, the countless words that God has given you, that no emotion has ever striked up of you crying out for people, or even in the midst of your mentorship, like you sitting and mentoring people, have felt their pain and cried out with them. Nowhere has that taken place. So let me ask this question." Then he says, "Do you think that's a sense of your strength or numbness?" Because this guy, he took great joy in saying that, he's strong, right? That to him, like not showing any emotion, not crying, was a sign of strength. And that's saying that they say, God gives his hardest battles to his toughest soldiers, which people like equate that to, you can't show no form of emotion. Well, Jesus showed emotion. Jesus, excuse me, showed emotion, so we can show emotion. But nevertheless, it made me think about, myself and just life in general, right? Because there were things in my life that transpired that created where I, in sense, created a numbness. Like I numbed that area because you're like, whatever it was, whatever took place that merit you to create this numbness within you, like saying that, "Oh, no one's ever going to do that to me again. I'm never going to allow myself to be weak for this. I'm never going to allow this vulnerable state for this to happen to me again." You'll create this wall of numbness where nothing can penetrate, where nothing can enter in. And instead of dealing with it and healing it, you just numb it, right? You numb it so you can't feel the cutting. You numb it so you can't feel anything. Like nothing can affect it because you're numb to it. And God wants, again, to make us whole. He's worried about the whole man. And we got to stop pretending that we're strong in certain areas and allow ourselves to be weak so God's strength can be made perfect. So God can be the backbone that we need. And no, I'm not telling you to go out there and just be weak, right? Just to be like you can't handle anything. Because in our weakness, God's strength is made perfect, within hindsight makes us strong. Well, we can't do it. We can't do it in our own merit. We can't do it on our own. We have got to lean on God. And that's what the enemy wants us to think. And even like our selfish and our flesh wants to think we don't need anybody. We don't need anything. We can do it all on our own. And there are times and phases and states in our life in which God will have us at a state of being with ourselves because we're with him. So we're never alone. And there's things he wants to pour into us, things that he has to minister to us, like a time of just our solitude with him. But he created us to be amongst each other. He created us to work together. He created us for a greater purpose, which is his will to be done. So I really want to encourage you and employ us all to like really, again, seek the Lord about areas where we may numb, where we numbed it up and we just know we don't want to think about it no more. And we're going through life tricking ourselves, right? Deceiving ourselves, thinking, "Oh, we're so strong, we're so this," and we haven't dealt with that brokenness. We haven't dealt with whatever it is that caused us to be numb. And allow God to really work on us. Allow him to really chisel away everything that may at a later time or another, like come spill over into our life and create havoc when God wants to deal with it now, right? Allow God to just deal with it. Allow him to, it's okay. It's okay to be tender. It's okay to be vulnerable with God. Allow him that. Allow God to really work on you because he loves you. He cares for you. Until next time, God bless.